Yeah. Oh, you don't see a bigger picture on Zoom?
Mm-mm.
Shoot. Okay. Well, can you actually see mine? You guys can double click it probably.
I can see it on Zoom. Yeah.
So, pardon me, this large chamber, this is a side shot of it. There are 3 massive stalactites coming down, and they're apparently hollow and house different features like a barracks. There's probably a temple in one, and there's also quarters for the elite and quarters for the Quegeth, the strange, hairy ape creatures that guard you guys. This also... There's a large layer of webs that when you're in the bottom, you can't even see. You can't even see the outpost from below. All you would see if you had keen enough eyes would be a layer of webs that kind of obscures the top part of the chamber. And once you got on the other side of those webs, you would see the stalactites. You would see this. They carved a platform that runs along the edge, and on there, they've through various catwalks and areas. There's 2 doors. At least. This is the door. Oh, I wish I had a better picture for this. Sorry, guys. I didn't realize it was not cooperate.
I can see it on Zoom.
Yeah, it's pretty small, though. I'm just going to... One second. So anyway, you should be able to see that, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a chamber where there seems to be guards, and there's guards in the stalactites. They brought you up in this cage there, and then they brought you along these catwalks, and this is your prison cell here. And it has a large metal portcullis sort of gate, and then over here was the quarters of the Quaggoth kind, the hairy troops. This central spire, there's 4 of them actually, and the central largest one seems to house the temple complex in the headquarters. And as you're brought out for your duties, you're actually brought down to the chasm floor to do most of your mundane work. So you see all this stuff a couple times. You've seen it, and you saw it when you were brought in. Does that make sense? I'm gonna...
Mm-hmm.
So you're brought up, you didn't know much. They don't allow you to talk a whole lot, so conversations isn't kept much. When the place is quiet, they keep it quiet and enforce it and such. So I'm gonna take a short bio, and then we'll start with these 2 characters. You have to give me a couple roles about potential things you may have been able to find in the next day. And I'm gonna take you out on a couple work groups. So I'll be right back.
How'd your interview go, Carly?
It went pretty well. Yeah, it was pretty good. Is Darren recording right now?
Yes.
I'm ready. Yeah, no, it went well.
Good. Glad to hear that. That can be nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Was it a job interview?
Yeah, it was for a fisheries technician.
What is that?
I would help do population counts and catching fish and moving them and
okay.
measuring fish and looking at fish.
Do you live close to the sea?
No, it would all be freshwater.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Alex, where are you going?
I'm moving away from the flies.
Maybe you should try showering every now and then.
No. Rude, first of all. Second of all, no, not nice. There's so many flies near that area, and I'm hoping that if I move, there will be less. I am not optimistic, but...
You know what you need? You need to make a game out of it. Do you know, like those tennis rackets? that are also like fly nets. Get rid of them.
Okay, give me a minute here to get myself organized again. Oh, the cat got in. Oh no.
Release the wolves.
Yeah, release the kitties.
Oh, I totally forgot my dice back there.
All right, so now I'm going to bring in. Actually, we have to do a one shift, so I'm going to allow. And Carly, glad you can make it. Awesome, thanks and welcome. I'm kind of throwing you in last minute here. I'm just going to.
Marty's on too.
Oh,
Yep, hello.
hey, Marty. Welcome.
I don't have a camera, so unfortunately it's just going to be my name.
Oh,
Enjoy.
oh. Oh, well. I'm just introducing the characters in stages to this setting, and so it takes a bit of patience, and there's it's been working in stages. I get you to roll 6-sided, or actually at this stage the timing is pretty good. I'll have you come in on one of the last days.
Okay.
Yeah. So for the moment we have Alex and Carly. And let's make sure we have the right character sheets here. So Carly, you're here. You're brought in, you guys are collared, you're chained, you have chains that go from your wrists to your neck to your waist, and then they can hook you together, and they did have you hooked together when you traveled. They brought you up through this hoist, brought you along through this complex, and as you came over, you looked down, and below you, when you came in, you can see that there were webs, this huge mesh of webs, and probably spiders down there. The webs were probably 100 feet below the platforms. And then below that is probably 200 foot, 150 foot drop to the bottom of the chasm. This place is pretty cleverly hidden up here, and you're not sure how many people have been brought through. I gotta put up a little barrier here for my cat. Hold on, give me a second. So I gotta pile up like beer cans and make a little barrier. She got through.
I'm used to that, Darren. I'm no stranger to the wall. Please continue.
Yeah, fend them off. It's a losing battle though, because she got right around it. Now she's on my lap. All right. Very, very clever. Carly, so let's have a quick look at names. So do you have a character name yet? Habu?
Taboo.
Nice. And Alex, your character's name, of course, Puck. Actually, let's just put these in so I don't get confused anymore.
Can I call you Puck?
Hmm?
Can I call you Puck?
Puck?
Yeah, Puck.
Well, his name is Puck, like rhymes with fuck.
Well, what the Puck?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say what the Puck.
Okay.
Puck.
Whatever suits your fancy.
Puck and Habu happen to be chained together on like a day's journey here. And you got to know each other's names. There's this half-orc barbarian, and Puck is this, well, actually, let's you two describe your characters a minute, as you would be seen from the outside, and perhaps some character traits you exhibited on your journey here. Puck, what's your character look like?
So he is a small little gnome, a deep gnome, in fact. So he has got this dark gray skin. His eyes are just like pitch black. And he's got this like crazy mane of black, spiky ass hair. He's got a little bit of like red paint on him, kind of tribalistic, ritualistic, you're not sure. But aside from that, he's wearing just leather trousers or like fabric trousers. And he's wearing this interesting jacket. He's not wearing a shirt, he's just wearing the jacket, kind of like the picture. But it's like, it's kind of haphazardly sewn together of a bunch of different cloths. And it's like kind of made like a little Technicolor kind of coat. and he's not happy as he is kind of like fighting his strains. And he's just like, just the whole time walking over there, fights the little guy.
Yeah, and they weren't kindly to you, you know, in your stature and stuff like that, constraints. And Habu, you're a half orc.
Yeah, so Habu is kind of this really, well, short for a half orc, only 5'9", but just like big and bulky and like maybe it's fat, but you know, there's probably muscle in there, and just like the longer you look at her, the uglier she is. Like just
Okay.
she doesn't really talk much. She just watches with some very intense eyes and seems like she wants to hit things, but she's restrained and just this silent mountain, just so bulky.
Okay. Wow. That's you were also brought in with two other prisoners. These two characters over here. Are you guys on this map? Actually, I should double check. Yes, you are. Okay. And one moment. There's two of these odd-looking duo named Topsy and Turvy. They seem to be male and female twins. And you're like, okay. They're deep gnomes. And they kept to themselves, though. They didn't say much when they were brought here. You just found out their names are Topsy and Turvy, and the female, the sister, seemed to do the talking. And the brother kept to himself, and they didn't really share much. They were very typical deep gnomes in that way. Just anyway, just so everyone knows, those are the two deep gnomes that are in here as well for the moment. So you guys come into this cell, and this place has been, it seems to be on some, well, morning and night is strange in the Underdark, but it would be, I guess, considered the start of the cycle. And so the guards come and are going to take a group, but before then, you guys have a little bit of time where they bring you some food. The doors open, and these Quaggoths under guard, and there's Drow there as well, and they have their little crossbows. And you know those crossbows have deadly little bolts and they're poison and such. And they bring in the gruel for the prisoners, and you're each given a large bowl and given your own way. And you're not, you know, they take away the chamber pots and stuff like that. And there are a group of slaves that are on shift right now, do that, come in and take the stuff out. And you guys are expected to eat a breakfast and I guess wait for your shift or something to come up. But you have, I guess, a little bit of free time at the moment.
And you just see her sitting there. Mary, again, you just see her sitting there, and she's like, "That's right, you go. Be careful out there, though. Be careful." Breakfast.
Yeah, and it's not very impressive, by the way. It's some sort of weird fungus and so on broth. In a way, if you're used to it, it's kind of like you're like, well, okay, it's just fungus broth. But if not, you would look at it like your nose would curl a bit. It's like mushrooms that way. It's kind of like, but these aren't the good ones, of course. But it's anyone not want to eat as you're given the bowls?
Yeah, Habu looks down at it and she just flips it upside down and throws it at the nearest whoever is there. Doesn't say anything else.
Okay, one of the guards shoots you with a crossbow.
Not the most intelligent.
Session 0. Let's go.
So roll for initiative. You're chained.
Die in session 0. Ooh.
Um, Darren, when
Yeah.
she said, let's go and be careful, she sent out Tom to go check the place out.
Go scout. Don't get squished.
There's huge cobwebs. There's no better place for Tom to be than with his family.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point. Now, let me set this up a bit more. This kind of caught me a bit off guard. When you seen this half orc who's like, so the front door was open. Let's get this. You had Balak and Sorn, these two drow guards. You have also, let me get him, Jorlin Duskrin, who is the other, this is the scarred guy. And he was called Lord Jorlin by the other soldiers. Oh, my roll 20 is gapping out. And then they also had with them, there were 4 Quaggoth, these guys. And I don't know if you've seen Quaggoth before. They're no nonsense thugs, basically, kind of just, yeah. If I roll 20 can work here, that would help. So the Quaggoths were out, were distributing food. All right, sorry, pardon me. There's one of these guys was outside. He was, so there were 3 of them were inside distributing food, and the Drow were in by the door, open doors, just with their crossbows, and yeah, I suppose we're gonna earn a hard lesson here in a way, I guess. So you flipped it over, and roll initiative, and let me.
I rolled an 11, but forgot to press my character. Do you want me to reload? Roll?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. I found it. Okay, my apologies. Let me get out the thing. Oh, it's been a little while. Let's get this ready. So I only need initiative actually for the 2 of them at the moment, because the rest of you are chained. You're at disadvantage basically with any actions you do or attacks or stuff like that, unfortunately. Well, you have to make Constitution saving throw, as you're shot instantly. Like you threw the bowl and it flew up in the air and sprayed a bunch of food on people and stuff. And you're shot and you collapse. Suddenly, like you're shot, they intentionally shoots you in the back of the leg. Like he just calmly, and you can see it was this guy. It was what's his bickle? And what's his name again? Duskrin. It was Jorlin, who's a really good shot, and he just calmly shot you in the back of your leg, and because he knew that the poison would set in, and you basically collapse on the floor of the cell, unconscious, or not yes, unconscious. You're asleep.
Probably for the best.
And
I'm
you
just
hear the orc, the Drow laugh, and they good shot. They speak in Drow. Anyone speak Drow? They laugh and speak in this language. Now, some of you might speak and they're just mocking, and everyone can tell they're just ha ha. And has this smirk on his face, and pardon me, Jorlin, if you zoom in on him, you see he has an eye patch on, and he's the scarred guy. He was the guy who's got the limp and the scar, but he seems to be a pretty capable warrior.
I speak Drow.
Yeah, so yeah, they're basically mocking, and the one Drow's like, good shot, Jordan. And he's like,
Darren. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, and that was about it. They're just, yeah.
So basically, Mary will basically like put her hands, like if she can, or like her arms over her ears and put her head in her crouch and yell, like really loud, start crying. But that crying or that yelling rather, is intensified in whoever, I think Jorlin is the closest to her.
Whoa.
In his mind via telepathy.
Oh, intense. So they would see you though, perhaps doing it, but they wouldn't hear it, except for telepath. Oh wow.
We don't hear anything. Okay.
Oh, Galen would. You said you meant, or who?
The Jolin, the ugly guy that shot her. He will hear a terrible screaming in his head.
Oh, okay.
You're just normal screaming.
No, she'll like
Everyone else
basically it's basically like an autist sort of kind of would, but not like as intense. Just like
Oh,
just like
interesting. Let me check one thing.
Yeah, sorry, just verifying, like, we can hear you screaming
Yeah.
normal level. It's just for
Yeah.
Jorlin that's
Yeah.
okay, because I'm right beside you, so
yeah.
knowing where you are and how
And
they
then
might
she's
react.
like, "It's everywhere! It's
Right.
everywhere! It's everywhere! It's all over me! Make it stop!"
Galen is just gonna grab you and literally try and like put his hand over your mouth and be like, shh, calm, 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 calm.
And
Puck's
meanwhile,
just gonna-
it just keeps ringing, like nonstop ringing in the back of Jolin's mind.
Puck is just going to be like, what the hell is going on with her? Just eating his breakfast in the corner.
You're going to get a shot. I need you to breathe.
Okay, I'll give you a persuasion roll, Kat, because this Quaggoth here is turning around and he's about to give a huge backhand to Miri.
Yeah.
What?
Now,
So fucking charming.
wait a minute. Did you crit that?
Yep.
Yeah. 26 crit.
First of
So
all-
there's a
Just breathe, baby. Just breathe.
now Miri. How do you respond to that? Now, of course, it's beneficial. It worked in spades, right? So how do you react to that? Because you see this Quaggoth, he spins. Shut up! He mutters in his guttural.
And she'll quiet down immediately, and she's like,
So
"I knew they were not real. I knew they were not real."
And the
Are they
Quaggoth
real?
is confused. He's got his hand poised.
Ouch.
Oh,
Good. Good.
you better make sure she shuts up. This big hairy
better
creature
shut
says. What you say? And he goes to grab your chain that's linking your wrists to your
Mhm.
belt. You'll pay for that. You have extra duty. I'll make sure of that. And he goes to grab your chains. You can resist or fight if you wish.
Oh, he's a guard right by us?
That guy right there, that's a Quaggoth guard.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were
Oh.
referencing our
Oh,
fish
yeah.
friend.
I'll
was
roll
doing
it back.
that.
And I know we kind
I'm
of
sorry,
rolled
yeah,
into
no,
this
I wouldn't
quickly.
have-
So the three guys who were given the dinner out, they're actually guards. They're Quaggoth. They're
Okay,
big.
sorry, yeah. I
Yeah,
follow now. The
I-
big ones, yeah.
So they are strong. You don't want to mess with them. They're like
Sorry, I was
ogres.
saying there's no worries. There's no worries. She was
Like-
sleeping. It
Like that
was
backhand could break her
nightmare.
neck. Like that thing's so big, right? It's a big orangutan.
Yeah, that's why I was there's no problem. She has night terrors. She was sleeping. She's awake now.
Yeah,
That's
I think I am awake now.
That's fine. But your
Sure.
duty, you got the shit duty. Come
Of
with me.
course.
And he
Of
drags
course.
you. He drags you and he drags out a few other people. And I'll roll quickly. And I got this little GM status. And there's a real tense moment. You see that this Kragath guards, they're bristling and they got big fangs. They look like kind of Yeti, cross between Yeti and large gorillas of the Underdark. And they have patchy skin and somewhat, and it's got dark areas with no fur. And some of them, they got all sorts of war trophies braided into their patches of fur and such like that. Some of them are grotesque, like body parts or skulls and things like that. They're not pleasant creatures whatsoever. The Drow use them as muscle, and just to do like they just did. They stand there at the edge of the pit, and the Kragath go in and sort things out and grab prisoners. And so they do grab prisoners right now, and they're sort of pissed off. So they grab the dwarf, and they grab. You happen to be. I'm going to roll now to see. Actually, I was going to do that. Pardon me.
The guy who grabs me and is right up against me, is there any, or on any of them that I can see, is there any fleece or feathers on what they're wearing on their
Feathers would be very rare.
fleece?
Possible. There's a slight chance. What do you got in mind?
I want to sleight of hand some if I can see some fleece in the kerfuffle. Just a little bit.
I see. Okay. First of all, let's roll. You have inspiration. Who has inspiration so far?
I do.
Yeah. Okay. So let's roll, for instance, your a wisdom save. It's for luck.
4.
Okay. So they didn't have any fleece or feathers.
Okay.
Is what that basically that was for. So they drag you out. They drag the troublemaker, Miri, and they drag this character here who you haven't met yet. What is his race again? His name is Bupido. Oh,
Dorito?
not quite. He's like, oh. Let me look him up real quick a minute. I have to get my notes. I'm using Roll20 for my notes this first time, and it's been a little bit slow. I'm getting used to it.
His name is Burrito.
And you
now.
sent out Tom to go forage and frolic in the webs?
Not forage, but scout out. See if there's anything that he can find or that he thinks that's mention worthy, and maybe he can find some friends of his, so he doesn't have to stick around with all the people that always are so sad in the cell.
Ah, interesting. Now, remind me of that, because I'm going to get your spider to make a roll to see what it's up to this time while it scurries out and about. Might make some friends out there, which might come in handy. Good thinking. Now, this guy, Bupido, you just met him the night before because he turned out, I'm going to retro this a little bit because it happened that this guy's a Drow. Now, Drow is a kind of a dark, almost purple-skinned, blue-skinned humanoid, kind of looks similar to a Duergar, but not. So they have large heads with huge eyes that are accustomed to, they have really good dark vision, probably the best in the Underdark. They're traditionally quite nasty characters, the Drow. They worship some nasty gods and are a little bit, their sanity is often a bit questioned. I'm just filling you guys in, doing a little metagaming here. But this Bupudo was another surprising character. He turned out that he was quite gregarious, and he ended up talking with a couple of the other prisoners, and you didn't really meet him because he was just talking, but you could tell that he just was unlike other Darrow, and you overheard him talking about his divine plan, and now everything was falling in place, and that is glory to his God. And he seemed to be, there was a bit of fanatical glint in his eye, but he almost looked like a born again sort of sort of character. Anyway, we'll get to him in a minute. So we'll move to the group that's being hustled outside, and they slam this. Anyone want to do anything as they're hustling these prisoners outside, apparently to do some dirty work, drudgery? Anyone want to do anything or we'll just roll this forward?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do they have anti-magic fields?
Now how could you tell? Would you?
I mean, I've been there quite a while. Has anybody tried to cast anything?
No. You suspect that there is some sort of power to define that in the cell anyway. As far as the
Okay.
outside and stuff, you're not sure. It's hard to maintain it in such a vast chamber. Possible maybe, but you're not sure.
So as she is getting dragged away, she gets more and more scared, sort of, kind of, and tries at the very least to, like, she holds up her hands or tries to, like, kind of protect herself and not be shoved around too much, basically. And she mutters a word and holds the tissue of the garments that she's wearing, and mutters something inaudibly, well, almost inaudibly, and adds herself, gives herself a resistance,
When you're outside.
which causes her, basically, and that would be like a constitution kind of thing she would do, which causes her heart rate to calm down again. And resistance, what that does is add a d4 to a saving throw. It's a
Nice.
cantrip.
So
She is telling herself, this is not real. This is not real. And her heartbeat calms down, and she finally realizes what's happening or what isn't happening.
excellent. It happens pretty quick. You see now that there's a body laying on the bottom of the cell with a crossbow bolt, and these crossbows are pretty small, and this bolt is only probably about a 12-inch long bolt, but it's sticking in her leg, and this half-orc, this muscular half-orc, is unconscious, sleeping, snoring away. Puck.
Did I take damage for that?
Yeah, you did actually. 3 hits. He wasn't going for a critical hit or anything. He was. So Jorlin heads off back to his duties to the south. And you guys are taken by the 2 Drow and 4 of these Quaggoth guys take this work party. And I'm just rolling this forward a bit to bring it back to the cell here. We're gonna split this into 2 quick role play groups. One group's gonna be taken on this little trek to do this duty, and anything's open. You can try anything you want, but just I'll warn you, I'm playing some pretty harsh consequences. You'll find out. This is it's pretty cutthroat, this stuff. So just beware. And give me 1 minute. I will get this party moving. So you guys are brought outside now, and now. Can you see the actual map now outside? The characters I brought out. You're
Yeah.
with me. Yeah. So you're brought along this passageway here, and roll 20 is being a little buggy.
I can see it.
Yeah. No, mine is. It's being a bit glitchy. I might have to turn something off. But anyway, you're brought to this platform, and here is where that winch is. Okay, so this is just giving you guys the idea how this place operates. These 3 doors here house barracks for some Drow fighters, you presume. And you passed these quarters here were probably the temple complex and headquarters. And then this area here was like a guard complex. But anyway, you guys are brought to this hoist area and lowered down in groups, all chained together. They probably chain 2 or 3 of you together at a time. There's very little room to escape and where to go and with what. So at the moment, you're just kind of have to follow along. You might want to try something desperate, but they seem to have things under control, definitely. They've realized, a couple troublemakers, we'll work it out of them. So they're going to they bring you to, and they're going to bring you down a passageway. So we'll head back to the rest of the party who is left here. And we got Puck and Habu and Marty. What's your character's name again? And we're going to
My
introduce.
character's name is Ingrid. but I don't know if I've been introduced or if I'm there or what's happening.
Yeah, pardon me. Let's get to that. That's a good call.
Just one question. When we went through the guard room, how many guards were there?
There were 2 guards and a sergeant.
Thank you.
And that was then that room back here. Yeah, good call. That seems to be, there's at least 2 guards there at any time, and possibly a sergeant, depending. And when you went by this area here, you could hear this eerie kind of music coming out. And I forgot to cue it up, but I had a excellent soundtrack for this. You heard some eerie chants. Here it is. Give me 1 second.
Spooky.
And as you go by this large stalactite, you hear these chants coming out of it and stuff.
Can I understand anything they say?
Yeah, to you it seems eerie and it makes your thoughts kind of, it makes you want to let loose. It makes you want to like just give in to primal instincts and such. And you're all sort of have that feeling, this music, and there's the lights. If you looked at the picture of the tower, you'll see that there were like little lights that had this glow coming out of them, right?
Yep.
And it fades away as you guys are, the whip cracks and you guys are forced forward. And at the last minute before you're being let down, you did see some drow come out of that complex, and they were in strange cloaks and garb. They had performed some ritual or something on their mass, dark mass. And here, give me one quick moment. I will get the cat out of the way.
This was the guard room, right? This pillar?
The guard room. No, the guard room's up here.
Okay.
That's the guard pillar. Because it's
this
out.
is where the chanting came from, this one.
No, this one here. Pardon me.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you can write on here as well. Because we're going to be
Oh,
playing
no one
here.
else can see that.
I can't see it. I have I have limited vision, so I don't know where you guys are pointing at.
Right. Oh, I should see what you can see right now, actually. Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay. Well, that's neat. That's working. All right, so you were brought. Let's get this arranged here real quickly. So the dwarf, Galen, and there's a couple guards too many here. Let me get rid of them. They came with 3 of these guys. Jorlin's not here. And there were these 2 drow. Now, they put you guys at work, like moving, doing gross tasks. They exhaust you, shoveling crap and digging ditches and for the sake of it. But as I said a minute, we'll go back to the main cell. Yeah, and just so you know, we're going to be playing a session or 2 in this area, so I slowed it down a bit, and we'll play it out and see how it goes. There are some events that will happen and so on. So have a bit of fun with it, role play. Feel free to kind of interact and whatnot if you wish. So I'll close the door again because the door is closed. And it's only left with Puck, Habu, and Ingrid. Now, Ingrid, you've been brought into this area with Puck and Habu, and you were chained together in a group that was transferred here. And Ingrid, how do you look, and what is your character?
I am a human. I'm very tall. I'm about 6'1". She's very muscular and well built. She carries herself kind of with a with kind of like a sense of grace despite the situation at hand. And so far, she's just kind of been sitting off into the corner, kind of with her legs crossed, kind of mostly just listening in on other people as they've been speaking. She doesn't seem to be putting up any sort of fight, even when they were moving her from room to room.
Uh,
And so far has just stayed mostly silent. She does respond to the occasional questions if she is asked them, but otherwise just kind of a little bit more on the stoic side.
Gotcha. Now you see that you're left in this cell with a drow, some sort of mushroom thing, because you're from the surface, right? You're new to this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so interesting. So you swear you saw that mushroom move. Like it's like a 4 foot tall mushroom with legs. And you're like, that spooked you. You're like, it's alive. You saw a drow over here kept to himself, and he seen, the drow, you don't like them, and they don't like you, I guess. And then you had this Darrow character who's seems to be quite alert and chirpy and talkative. We'll see. There's some new prisoners you were brought in with. You never really talked to. Puck and Habu. You just got shot, and you kind of shook your head when you saw him flip the food up and stuff. You're like, uh-oh. Jim Jar, you see the orc Ront by the door, and then these two guys are siblings, Topsy and Turvy, who keep to themselves as well. Now this fish guy, this goggler, comes up, and I don't know if you've ever seen a goggler before, or a kuatoa. Would your character have seen one?
No, Ingrid's from the north.
So this fish guy, it's a walking fish, and you're looking at him, and you're like, what? And he's got like webbing gear on and stuff like that, and rudimentaries. He comes up, hello, I'm Shusar. Have you met the great Bloodabloop? He will reach you to Nirvana in peace, I assure you. This dark place is just temporary, I assure you. You're new and a surface dweller, I see. Very interesting. Is there anything I can do for you?
Ingrid is just going to like look him up and down and then just turn her back and say, I don't think so. And then
like,
take a few steps away.
Oh, well, you just, we're all here for peace. We're all here for peace, he says as you kind of turn away. You're like, geez.
So there isn't an unconscious person on the ground?
Yeah, and you hear a bit of a snore, perhaps, coming from it. Half orc.
Does it still have a crossbow bolt in it?
And you see Ront is laughing. He's he's pointing. Look at that. And he goes up and he twicks the crossbow bolt. Doink, doink, doink. And you can see the figure moan and kind of, some blood comes out. I got him good. Want me to yank it out? It'll probably wake him up.
How stuck does it look in there?
Ouch. Yeah, it's like I said, about a 12-inch long little barb. But it's stuck in a couple inches, or an inch and a half or so. Maybe it hit the bone. It's like,
are our manacles in
if you
front of
pulled
us or
it up,
behind us?
in front.
Okay, because
Yeah, you can only move your arm about maybe 20 inches from your waist. It's like frustrating, right? You can only lift your arm up a little ways. You have to do everything that way. But you know that if you don't make a medicine check and you yard out across, it's going to do damage and hurt, of course, right?
Yeah. I'm going to kind of look to everybody else in the room and kind of motion towards the crossbow bolt. So anybody other than our orc friend here, anybody else know medicine?
She's alive.
What
She's
language?
fine.
What language do you speak?
I'm speaking just common.
Sorry, Alex, I didn't mean to interrupt.
All good. All good.
Yeah.
Buck is just visually just annoyed in the corner, just like, she's alive. She did something stupid. She deserves it, frankly.
Jim Jar's like, ha ha, that's the way to say it. Wow. Yeah, you gotta watch yourself around here. You gotta watch yourself. Hey, I'll bet you 10 gold pieces, my friend. And he goes up to Puck. I'll bet you 10 gold pieces that he wakes up in 10 minutes.
I bet you 10 gold pieces that if you don't fuck off right now, I'm gonna bite off your ear.
I
Ah,
bet you don't have any gold pieces. We are in prison.
Jim Jar, he backpedals from this little spark plug. Is not in a good mood apparently, as he's just and he's kind of touching his face and like, oh dear, yes, okay, yes, and he heads off to find some other victim to pester and elicit a bet gamble. So Puck, you're in a mood. You're like, ugh.
I'm in prison.
Yeah. And Ron's even looking backed off because everybody kind of backed off a bit. Like you're like, whoa.
Yeah, surface person. I checked, she's fine. She's asleep. It's better to just keep it in there until she's awake and conscious.
She did not look very smart to begin with. She's probably just going to rip it right out.
I agree. But that's her problem, not mine.
I would rather not there be blood everywhere. I'm assuming we are sleeping here.
We are. But I'm sleeping in this corner, which is blood-free.
You are not in a corner.
It's a little... It's my side.
My nook.
Ingrid kind of leans down and just kind of whispers, "I'm sorry, my friend," and then goes to try to take it out herself.
All right, make a medicine check. You're like, and it's stuck. It's pretty good. I don't know if, and Puck, you're just watching and just shaking your head a bit and missing your pipe or whatever, or your tea or whatever. Of course, they took everything from you. You're pissed off.
Everything.
Yeah. All right, so that's a pass. You extricate the bolt and manage not to cause further damage, basically. And you realize that it's this young half-orc warrior and who just came in and got shot and instantly dropped. But you guys all took it as a bit of a lesson too. You're like, okay, the guards don't mess around sometimes. They don't really care, hold life at high value. You do have a value, but you sense, right? As you can be sold as slaves or something. So they're practical enough that they don't want to kill their own slaves.
Well, my back is kind of facing most of the people in the room. I'm actually going to try to slip this crossbow bolt up my sleeve if I can.
I was wondering if you were gonna. So sleight of hands, please, and I'll give you advantage on this. It's everyone's.
Thank God.
Whoa. Now,
Do I see her swipe this thing? Because I was kind of watching the whole thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say now you can roll disadvantage to see if you spot it. And that would be insight.
Insight. With disadvantage?
Yes.
Okay.
No, actually, no. No. Let's not roll that. Actually, you would have saw, if you're paying attention, you would have seen that it took her, a couple minutes to do it, and you saw that she craftily put this bolt away. And there's a chance. Now I'm going to roll for Ront, because Ront was watching as well. And this is where... one moment. Yeah, I realize now I'm gonna have to write some hard copy notes because I have different notes on my computer and it's not really working well. Like I thought I'd give it a try. You know what I mean? But anyway, I'll work with it for now. But I'm gonna go back old school and write up some hard copy stuff. Okay, let me find Ront, my man. my man Ront. And he makes a... Okay, he's not the wisest chap. No, but he grins at you. He's like, "Oi, you're a sneaky one, aren't you, human?" And he speaks common, and you realize Ront is from the surface.
I'll turn to him, smile, and give a little bit of a wink.
He looks a bit startled. He laughs. Ah, yeah. And he does his best to be like in some bad movie where he's like some spy who's fish out of water. He tries to whistle through his fangs, and it just comes off as kind of this saliva spraying around. Smiling and laughing. He liked that.
So awkward.
Ingrid will continue to smile out of politeness, but is internally screaming.
Yeah, Gronk. And so you're watching this puck, and this wakes this. You start to stir, Habu, and you're like, oh, and you suddenly recall something about getting stung and kicked in the ass or something. Like you couldn't, and it's sore. You reach back with your hand, and you're like, oh, it's tender, and you look up, and it's like you just woke up. And there's this human, and you're from the surface as well, right? You're half orc from the surface, or are you from the Underdark?
The surface.
Surface, okay. So you see a human, and that's surprising that he's standing up. I guess I'm not sure what you're exactly doing right now, Ingrid, and then you see an orc, a full-on orc, who's kind of laughing and trying to whistle and looking off, and you take in the room and then you remember what happened, and you're like, oh, and you slowly get up, and you see people kind of watching you curiously and stuff, and oh, he is alive, and you see Jim Jar go, drat, by Okos's beard, and he pulls out this piece of paper and scratches some stuff on it, and you see Shushar give out a kind of a laugh. I told you he was alive. Dude, I said so. All right, so you're up now, Habu, and you've mellowed out a bit because you're just like, and you don't have dinner now, so that doesn't make you happy. But go ahead, what do you do, or anybody do?
Welcome back. Did you have a nice sleep?
No.
Figures. Next time, if you want to stay alive, don't be stupid.
Do whatever I want, stupid worm.
Tell that to them. And I point at the guards.
Glare at the guards.
If you want to get out of here, you got to be smart. That human there, and I point at Ingrid, she's smart.
Humans aren't smart. Or she like pouts a little. She'll pace around.
And they don't know your name, actually. Puck was brought in with you. And actually, no, you guys introduced each other awkwardly. You do know each other's name. So Habu, you walk around, and people are kind of looking at you, the other inhabitants, and Jim Jar is like, hey, you cost me 5 gold pieces, but that's okay. I'll let you make it up for it. I tell you what, double or nothing says that you can get that mushroom to talk. And he points, oh, wait a minute, Habu, you don't speak Underdark, do you?
No.
So this Jim Jar is just muttering nonsense to you. Like, and he's pointing for a while, and you're just kind of,
shut up.
and you hear the Drow say something suddenly, and it slices through the room pretty quick in that kind of commanding tone the Drow can have, that narcissistic. And he says something in Underdark, of course. Shut the fuck up, you little creature. Quit bugging us. And Jim Jar is like, ooh, and he shuts up real quick. Okay, fine. And he heads off.
The fuck did he go? Oh, the corn. Sorry, I thought he like left the room, and I'm like, what?
Phases through the wall.
The Drow turns back to his business or whatever, and seems to like his silence. Now I'm gonna, unless anybody wants to say anything, I'm gonna quickly go to the other group for a minute and then resolve that. Is that cool?
That Drow is a prisoner?
Yes.
Okay,
He's chained up. He's got the chains.
cool.
And he's got the remnants. It appears he, as most Drow do, he holds himself, he's very haughty, right? Even though he's in chains, he's even cocky. In a sense, that this Drow is, of course, you can tell he's probably resentful and contempt everybody here, basically. But he's prisoner somehow. So back to the other group, and I'm just going to theater mind this because I don't really have a mind complex. I forgot to provide a map and get it ready. But they brought you to down a side passageway to the south, and they went deep into this very uncomfortable region where they get you guys to move a pile of rocks back and forth for 4 hours. And they don't really give you much time to do much of anything, but I am allow you to maybe try to do something subtle. If you try to talk, they beat or whip you. And heaven forbid, if you want to try to fight back, you'll leave your corpse here probably, you realize.
So where's Tom at?
Ah, Tom. Now he's been, yeah, of course, Tom is perhaps the one you trust the most so far in this world, but he hasn't shown up again, and he might not know where you are, so you don't know. But I am
Okay.
but I will get you to roll for him. Or actually, no, I'm going to roll for him because it could be a surprise. Okay, that's all right. Interesting. So for the moment, you're thinking of Tom, and you're like, and you wonder where Tom. Now, who knows about Tom? Anybody here?
Yeah. He does.
Galen does, right?
I do.
Yeah. And
Galen does.
Right.
Right. He does. He knows about Tom, and she would, if possible, keep casting resistance on herself, like telling herself this is gonna be over soon. It's not that bad. You're stronger than this, sort of, kind of.
Yeah. Give me a roll because the Drow they seem bored. This is not what they want. These two Drow, Balak and Soren, their names are, these two guys. They're male Drow. They're put on this crappy duty for 4 hours. They got to overwatch you two pile rocks. They hate it. They've gone to the side a little bit even, and are playing cards or whatever, some sort of game of chance, the Drow play perhaps, and letting the Quaggoth basically watch you guys. So you have an opportunity to do stuff. If you make, at advantage, make your roll sleight of hand, because to cast your spells, you sort of have to have some sort of, movements and incantations.
I need to touch my cloth, basically. And those were both not good.
Yeah. So, one of the Quaggoth comes forward and he's, you were told to shut up. And he smashes you with his claw. And
Oh, shit.
so you were
I think my AC's just straight up 12.
Okay. So he hits you savagely and beats you.
Not surprised.
Yeah. It's not pretty, and there's elements of this adventure, of course, that are not pretty.
Mm-hmm.
and he does savagely beat you for 6 hits damage.
Oh wow.
And not only that, he carries you away from the group. And one of the Drow looks over, and Balak comes walking over. I knew that one was trouble. Weird one. And you're bleeding and hurt.
Right.
Throw her in the webs. I'm done with it. And the Quaggath grins. Yeah, in the webs. Yeah, I like it. Let's go watch. And sure enough, they pack up, and the whole group, with you kind of bloody and sore, and realizing that is this nightmare or dream, this one, damn it. But so far it's a bit rough. Now, anyone else want to try to do anything or intercede, or there's not much you really can do? Well, that's not true. So they pack up, and it's about 3 hours went by, so they got bored of doing this, and they're going to call it, because they're going to have fun now. They're apparently throwing somebody somewhere. So they bring you up onto the platform.
Okay. And the platform is basically leading down and has giant cobweb.
Now, once you're up here, this platform, just below it, probably about 80 feet, is a large series meshing of web. Now, quite unceremoniously, this Quaggath grabs you by the legs and throws you off the edge of the platform.
They throw me off.
So they throw you off this edge into this, down below, laughing.
Let me see real quick. So while doing that, she is going to, fall down, I guess. She'll close her eyes. She says to herself, this isn't happening. This isn't real. Nothing can hurt me, and this blood isn't real, and I'm not hurt. And she's casting Cure Wounds on herself by touching herself.
And gratefully, after a fall of about 60 feet, you tumble into some webs just before you do that. And it's these large, strong strands kind of cushion the blow. You don't actually take damage from that fall itself, but you do find yourself possibly transfixed in the webs and stuck. And you have to make a roll, first of all, before you can try stuff to see if that's the case. Give me one moment. Now, and I want to get to that moment when you're doing your thing, because that's important. I'm kind of going with that. So give me 1 second. Again, my problem with the notes. Apologies, everybody. I lose it every time. All right, close it, and then I got to go find the file again. And I'm like, oh no. No, give me a dexterity check. We'll just go with that. Dexterity save, pardon me. Beat a 12. I'm just going to start doing that from now on. If I lose something, I'm just going to hopefully do it fair. So you're deft enough that you're not tangled up hopelessly in the webs. Like if you can imagine being dropped 50 feet into a bunch of giant spider webs, you could be hopelessly bound up and tangled easily. But in this case, you're lucky and you're deft and small that you bounce and you kind of roll and stop and immediately get up and go into your mode and you start chanting and stuff like that. And as you do that, the other ones up top are going, no. And you see this dwarf yell out, screams out, no, you bastards. She was just a... And then you hear this thump, 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 thump as these two Quaggath jump on the dwarf and pummel her into submission. Galen, you're watching all this, and this Quaggath is standing right beside you, and Balak is back there. He's laughing. He's just laughing, Balak. He's like, oh, let's see. Can you see her? Can you see her? And Soren is looking over the edge. I don't know. She tumbled over there, and he's pointing. And you notice now, Miri, you're able to kind of hide from the...
And I would like to do so.
Yeah, I'll give you that option because you can see they're poking up and looking. You can see the two Drow, Balak and Soren.
So, and she'll pretend That's so funny. So she now fully imagines 100% that she is a full-on grown spider, just like Tom. And she pretends, and she goes on her legs and goes goes through the spider web, and then tries to like kind of pulls her head in and tries to like
Wow.
blinks
All
a
right.
couple of times and like really embraces this imagination.
Give me a performance check at advantage.
Okay.
In all elements but physical, I am a wolf.
Or no, at normal. No, normal performance.
Nat 20.
All right, I'm sort of adapting this as a scope because there's been a couple key roles here, and I, as a DM, I do this stuff like this just to warn everybody. Now, I've had this tickling in my mind how this was going to play out, and you are a spider, okay? Like I'm a spider, right? I'm a spider. However, you're still in your now metagaming. You're still your form, but you suddenly just get up and you're acting. You're a spider.
I'm a spider.
You feel Tom come zipping out of the web work and come to you and do a little spider dance.
And
He's
I'll do
happy.
the same thing.
And you guys have this brief moment. Now, meanwhile, I should have done this private with you because the last thing you guys saw was Mira disappear off the edge. And,
PC death. Like, all right.
so you heard Elbreth scream in rage and anger. And now, by the way, Miri's not out of the dark. There is dangers, and but anyway, you saw her thrown off. You've seen Soren and then Balak look at each other, and they kind of shrug. I bet they got her. Oh, yeah. And they high-five each other sort of thing. And, all right, let's get these back to the cells. And actually, we got a few more tasks to do. We got to finish the shift. You know how Ilvera is. Yeah, stupid bitch. Oh, hey, watch it. And you guys realize that they're Drow. And they mutter and leave the ledge. And for the moment, we'll leave this group as you guys are brought back to the cells after they pummel Elbreth. Oh. Okay, no, I'll let that slide. I was going to throw her off the edge too. But they'll get in trouble if they throw away too many slaves. So they return.
Yeah, what a waste of resources.
Yeah, but they saw that you were just like not slave material, maybe. Not quite their slave material. Who knows? They're fickle. They're Drow. They're dicks.
Fair.
Okay, so I'm just going to move you guys back to the cell, and we can arrange ourselves in the cell now because it's going to be our personal quarters. So the day has gone by, and during the day, these events happened and so on, and I guess it would be late afternoon, and you've seen how savage the Drow and the Quaggoth can be, and it's later in the afternoon. Apparently you have some time. They're going to take another shift away. They're going to take the Drow guy. They're going to take the Topsy and Turvy and Jim Jar, and I'll roll to see which party member goes, or party members. Now, it's not going to be party members that just got back, so there's a chance. Give me a... No, actually, I'll decide that. I'll roll. Oh, wow. No, I just made a couple rolls. So it looks like everybody else is staying here for the moment. That's everyone else. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so they bring back this beat up dwarf and they throw her in the side, and she's kind of moaning and in pain and kind of, bastards, they threw her off the ledge. Just threw her off the ledge. She's upset though, and but she quiets down and then Shushar's like, see, it is a cruel world, and we must show pacifism and be strong, my dear. And he kind of consoles this dwarf. It's a really strange thing to see, this goggler going over and consoling this dwarf. And you're all a bit touched, those of you who can't be touched. And Ront is just like, stupid fucking dwarf. Why didn't they throw her off the edge?
Galen, since I was with the dwarf and whatnot when it happened, will be with her, and if she allows her, kind of has just like a calm hand on her shoulder. His very calm, stoic presence. And when the fish says that, he kind of says, yes, we must seek peace in every interaction, except where it will not be received. You cannot be passive to creatures like the Drow.
Yes, and I see that you are a warrior. Yeah.
He laughs. He's like scrawny and clearly not a warrior at all. But a warrior of the mind, yes, but not a warrior of the blade.
And perhaps you play some sort of strange surface music, yeah?
Yes, I can, I sing.
Perhaps we can sing together. I am known to be a good gargler.
Oh God, kill me now.
This very kind smile on his face goes, oh, I am most certain, and maybe there will be a time away from here where we can do such a thing, but I have a feeling our captors don't have the ear for our beauty.
Yeah, perhaps you are right. I am tired and will meditate for a while now, if you will excuse me.
Of course.
And he goes back to the side of the room and he kind of curls up in this sort of lotus position, this kind of fish lotus position. And you can hear this sort of little bubbling, mumbling coming from him, sort of this frothy sound as he. And it goes on. And it's sort of soothing in a way. It fills the room with this sort of tonal white noise. That seems to give everybody, and it will actually give you advantage on certain effects, by the way, while he's doing this. All right.
And yeah, I'll just say the dwarf, I'll say there's nothing we could have done. And then he'll just kind of be quiet and try and be a comforting, quiet presence there.
And the dwarf looks up and through her split lip, her cracked teeth, and she's, my name is Elbreth. I'm not from this dark place. These bastards captured me. I hate them. I will kill them all one day. We have to get out of here, though. We have to get out of here, she whispers suddenly.
Yes, I need some rest, but I plan to stay up tonight to watch the guards, get more information. Will you stay up for part of the night, too?
Yeah, I'll try. I don't trust that bloody orc. And she kind of, her eyes tilt toward Ront. And that fish thing, they're
Do
kind.
you think you could trust here? Who else should I speak to? And I kind of glance over at, I don't know, just around with the other characters in here.
Indeed. Mixed batch. Ront is wandering around. He's bored. He's kind of, his chains are shuffling, and he's just kind of looking to cause trouble. Kind of sneering at people and stuff.
I see the bulk and the strength of Habu, so I'll kind of pat the dwarf's shoulder and then sort of make my way over. I see you have come back to us. Are you all right?
That's Habu, right?
Yeah.
I'm fine. Of course I'm fine.
Would you like me to take a look at your leg?
No.
How did you end up here?
Was captured.
By the Drow themselves. Was anyone with you? Was it just you alone?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
What were you doing down here? Or were you captured up on the surface?
I was on the surface. I should catch animals.
Well, I want to watch them tonight, but I can't stay up the whole night. If I wake you, will you take a shift? And he's very, I don't know if you've had my character described to you if you did the intro, so I'll give that for you, Marty, quickly. He's like this very calm looking, a little bit scrawny, but half elf with like a French braid that's all messy and whatnot, and silver eyes. He's not muscly at all. He's quite small, even for a half elf, but he's really got this face that's kind of always just like that, just in a smile, just trying to be very, very disarming all the time. So he said that. Well, if I wake you, will you watch for a shift? We're in this together.
Maybe I could do that for you. And then she tries her best imitation of a calming smile.
Oh, yes. You can't help but, a little bit back because I'm sure your teeth can't. And he goes, it is so wonderful to meet a unique beauty such as yourself. I am Galen, and he puts out his hand to shake yours.
She takes your hand and crushes it a little.
Yes, it's good. It's good. It's good. She's very, very strong. Very, very strong woman.
Strong and beautiful.
Yes. Yes.
Stop the wig.
Yes. Yes. Well,
Leave me now.
beauty
And
such
she continues her pacing.
of your time. He kind of fades out and walks off, and he'll go kind of sit over again by the dwarf.
And you guys are going to watch and observe and get information as you get a feeling. Now I'll take this moment now to share a couple of rumors and also an opportunity to see if any of you happen to smuggle perhaps something in at some point. There's a small chance. You do know that there are roughly, well, up to almost 20 drow in the outpost, including all of them. Like more than you first anticipated. There's close to 10 or a dozen of these quaggoths, and there's some giant spiders, you presume, down below. There are 3 drow guards that watch the slave pen from the hanging guard tower across the rope bridge. That's that rope bridge, the guard tower I told you about. It's visible through the locked gate. You can actually, the locked gate has a little kind of one of those barred windows in it, so you can actually see out and see the guard stalactite. The cell has some sort of anti-magic effect, so these are the things you would know. Jorlin, the Drow warrior, he suffered some disfiguring injuries recently, and before then he was in Ilvara's favor. Now, Shur is the guy that you don't really know well. He was the other male that you met briefly when Ilvara talked to you. There were 2 males that were like officers. One's name was Jorlin, the other one was Shur. Ilvara has a dreaded tentacle staff. You're not sure exactly how it works, but you've seen the rumors of it. You don't see much of her, though. He stays in the temple, moves around a bit. You guys are kept in your pen probably 15, 16 hours of the day. You're chained up. You're brought out usually for 8-hour shift to work, and they have 3 shifts and they just go 24 hours sort of thing. But for the moment, you happen to all be in the cell at this time. It just happened to happen that way. And so you guys interacted a bit, which is really cool. Got to know each other a tiny little bit, which is neat. You got to know a few of the characters. And any questions so far? Has anybody? And the style, as you can tell, has been very heavy role play. There's, as I predicted, the first session or two is gonna be a lot of this, which is I enjoy it. I have a lot of fun. And you
To
guys
be
are
fair, it's session 0 too.
yes, yeah, and there's still like I said, I got to prepare some hard copy notes, which I know will save me some heartache. But I'm gonna move beyond that. And you guys are doing great. You guys are it's I love your characters, and I kind of blew it a little bit there by giving away that you weren't dead yet, Sandra. There's a little thing coming up.
Oh, I figure. I'm ready.
So
Throw it at me.
yeah, if does anybody want to try anything through the evening? Now I'll tell you the information you glean while you watch, and you can look out these passageways because the stuff goes on out there in the night, and the Drow and the Quaggoth do things, and some of them are active and so on. You might pick up some clues, but I'm going to assume the night goes by unless somebody wants to try something.
Yeah, I want to, as Galen, 2 things, please. I want to, at some point, kind of be tucked, if she'll let me, kind of behind Habu, where I can't really be watched that easily, and I want to take some real time inspecting my manacles, if there's a join on it anywhere, if there's a lock on it anywhere, if there is a piece that's a lock, anything I can garner about the lock. And the other thing I'd like to do is spend some time kind of sitting over here near the gate, and as surreptitiously as possible, examine the lock on the gate as much as I can.
Ah, no, good call. As to the manacles, and everybody's sort of checked them out a bit, and you've kind of they're tough. It's possible, like an extreme strength check could, if you were, a Conan or something, you could use, there's a chance you could break them. They can be picked if you have thieves' tools, of course. Otherwise, it's very hard and at disadvantage. You estimate. Now, I'll make you roll an investigation on the door to see the mechanism and if it's trapped or alarmed, right? Could be rigged.
Can I be watching her, watching Galen do all this?
Yeah, and also, yeah, very much so. And anybody can, you can step at any point in this mode of play. It's open, so anybody's welcome. I was going to mention, what was I going to mention again? Oh no, we can move on. So you're watching, and your investigation roll was okay. So you, as far as you can tell, it's a simple key lock, which you would again require thieves' tools of some sorts to perhaps try. Otherwise, it would be very difficult. Again, sort of same scenario. I can't really give much new information. You as you looked out, you spent probably an hour or two, and now when the guards came around, you probably pretended to be quiet or whatever, of course,
Yes.
right? All right, so now who's going to take turns at the door, because I'm going to get you to make a stealth check to see if the guards, who are pretty quiet and clever themselves, catch you peeping.
Okay, I'll do the first check of the night, and then I'll wake up Habu next, as per our deal. You want me to do a stealth check?
Yeah, Galen. So, okay, so right away, Galen, you're like, oh, guard's coming.
14.
So you manage to, you hope, to get back, and you see the guards, you can hear him clang, and he checks the lock, ding, ding, as they often do, and you hear him talking. There's 2 Drow, and they go by. They don't notice you. What you do notice when you're looking out is that this wasn't the only people that walked by. There was regular and irregular traffic. There was some Quaggoth and stuff, but there were gaps. There were times, where 10 minutes would go by, 15 minutes, and nobody was around.
That I could see.
Yeah, that's right, that you could see. Or hear, even. It was just pretty quiet. Often distance, you could hear footsteps or voices, but once in a while it'd be dead quiet. And you noticed it was at a certain hour, there was every 3 hours, you hear some noises coming from the temple.
In the guard room of the stalactite that's across the rope, can I see into the guard room to see if there's people in it, or it's like closed with a door and everything?
The door, yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. They could be watching from there as well. I don't. There's
Possibly
like
they could have, they could have peepholes or something.
Okay.
And once in a while, there's a Quaggoth guard who stands outside the door, and just is there for like about a half an hour, and then he goes off and stands, like he's obviously on duty in this area, and so he stands somewhere for 10-15 minutes and then goes to stand somewhere else, and or gets bored or plays hooky, you're not sure, but just so you know, it's so they are watching the place, and there's sporadic patrols, but there are gaps, you realize, and if you can get outside the door, there's possibility of, well, who knows? You're starting to get a bit of hope, though, that hey, maybe escape is possible, because they've been so tight, right? They're, with the chains, that's a big issue, and with the keeping you guys in small groups for chores and stuff, and so on. All right, so who else looked through? Who else took a watch? Somebody agreed to do that? Needs to make a...
Well, after I went to sleep, I go over to Habu, and I kind of like wary of her. I kind of like poke the edge of her foot with my foot from as far away as I can, hoping she wakes up quietly. Poke, 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 poke.
Well, Habu?
Well, she can't control how she wakes up.
Didn't know she was going to be woken up, though, to be fair.
She is like, yeah, she did agree she would do that, but she's not the smartest. She may not even have remembered. So,
Nonetheless, I nudge her awake.
Rod is snoring.
It's you. Go away.
Hi, hello, my great beauty. Are you still up to watch the door for a little bit while I sleep?
Oh yeah, whatever.
Excellent. Count the guards. You can count,
What?
right?
You didn't say I'd have to do numbers.
Okay, just watch. Just watching. Not fighting. Watching.
She can count to 4, maybe.
Up to 5.
Galen's questioning his
You can count
tries
up to
to go for the strongest looking as an ally.
All right, so you're watching, and
Could I give Galen like a look, like a I'll watch.
Yeah, we make like there's like a moment of understanding, like, oh, okay, all right. I'm gonna talk to you later.
Habu, you're looking outside, and at the moment things are quiet, and then guards come and go, and an hour or two slips by, and the shift is almost done. Give me a stealth roll
Okay.
to see if you.
Her stealth's actually not the worst.
Yeah, that's a pass. It's a 10 roll, so you make it, and you're not beaten or whipped or thrown off the ledge.
I don't think they could lift her.
True. Oh, the Quaggoth could. They're big.
Yeah.
So you noticed nothing unusual. Give me actually, I forgot. Both of you give me a roll. I just need to find the correct digger. This investigation roll. I will use that for now. May not be the most apt. -1. Whoa. Oh, is your intelligence or wisdom like really that bad?
Oh.
All her stats are pretty bad. Actually.
That's awesome. So you got bored and fell asleep.
Yeah.
Once I notice Habu fall asleep, I'm like, okay, it's my turn now, and I'll get up and I'll move right next to the gate in order to watch.
Okay, you go up to the gate, and it seems to be clear at the moment. And the shift's almost done. You're there for about an hour, and you're watching. Give me a stealth check, please.
Yes, sirree. Ooh, yeah.
Okay, so you've had to duck away a couple times as some guards came by or something, but it was all cool. You're pretty nimble, no problem. And you just got back. And, actually, you don't know Tom, do you?
Only
No.
Galen knows Tom.
No. So you see a little spider come onto the platform. You're looking out the door, and you can't see it, but just in picture, you're looking. You see a little spider come onto the platform and scurry up to the door.
For everyone, it's a tarantula-sized orange spider.
Just like, okay, that's weird.
And it comes. You lose sight of it as it goes to the door, and it might be coming under the door.
Oh God. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Time to burn this place down.
Kill it.
Step on it.
I'm gonna kill it.
Okay, the spider.
I'm not gonna actually kill it, but I'm just gonna be like, just like, don't get closer.
I
'cause
wouldn't.
will
I wouldn't
attack.
blame you if you stepped on it. Right. Might be a moment. You see something under the door, under the sill, and you see that Habu's laying there with his legs sprawled out, snoring, and the spider thing. You see its shadow under the door, and it's scurrying back and forth like it's not sure. Now,
Is it because Habu's like body is just blocking the door?
no, not really. And but then it goes away. And
Yeah, that was freaking weird.
or you think so because you look and it's gone. You don't know what happened. It's gone. But they're sneaky spiders. You're not sure where it went. But you're like, ugh.
The hell? God, I gotta get out of this cave. I'm losing it.
Is Pug afraid of spiders?
I mean, that's a big ass spider, dude. Tarantulas are big.
That's fair. That's fair. Still, the question remains: is he afraid?
Mm.
He's not gonna tell you. For all we know, you're
Okay,
dead.
I'm sorry.
But I'm trying to see like if there's like a pattern to like guards coming back and forth. You know.
You did notice that things quiet down towards the end of the sleep shift, the evening shift. The guards seem to be just nonchalant, and there's a couple that walked by, didn't even look in the door. They just seem bored, and the Quaggath. But nothing really besides what I said before. You realize there's gaps in the timing. It seems somewhat coincidental and random. It could be tricky. So not much puck to really report if there is anything. And you realize that the whistle's going to go soon for the breakfast, and where the Quaggath bring the gruel. And the work shift will be brought back, which will have Jim Jar and Turvey and Topsy will be brought back probably, and then they'll bring a new crew out. Now I realize I've been keeping things moving pretty quick and not really giving much opportunity, but things have been really too quick at the moment, and you guys don't know enough, and things have happened. So I think it's kind of interesting the way it's happening. The work party comes back. There's 4 Quaggath, 2 Drow again, and this time you see that I'll move the door for a moment because they open the door. And brought to you this time is, where did I put him? Sure is his name. Sure Vandry. And if Roll 20 cooperates, we'll get that sorted out. Now this guy is the other male officer who was sort of an aide, senior officer to Ilvera. And Ilvera is here as well, and they're talking to each other, and they're in the morning as the breakfast is being served, and you see that he's writing down as she's giving commands, and she's pointing her tentacle staff at and speaking in Drow quietly to him. Now, if anyone wishes, they can try to eavesdrop if they speak Drow.
I'd like to
Is,
try. I speak Drow.
is Drow undercommon, or is that something different?
Different. The Drow don't. Their language isn't very well known. They don't share it much. I mean, it's. You might know it, but it's.
I do.
Okay.
I'm a bard. I know like I think 4 or 5 languages or something like that.
Okay, so they're there now. Piction. There's also 4 of these Krageth guards with them because they're very cautious. These Drow don't take chances. Sorry, I'm getting some really bad lag. I'll have to work on that. Actually, this is a learning curve for this adventure, like playing with the system and stuff like that. I have to work out a couple kinks, but
Take your time, Darren. It's really no problem at all.
yeah. Get the optimum performance from these Roll20 sometimes. Sword and Balak are there. And they push you guys away from the entrance as they bring in the breakfast. And she's talking. Now you can make your roll here. This would be a... let me try somebody else. Who can speak Drow? You can see if you can overhear them. It would be a... what would that be? Perception. Let's go with that.
18.
So, it's Yissa-san will get the next lot in 2 days' time in Menzelbransen. Aye, mistress. And I will see you in 20 minutes in my quarters. And she licks the tentacles around his neck and kind of pulls him toward her for a minute and kind of gives this kind of cruel smack of her lips toward him and gnashes her teeth. And then she saunters off. And Shur turns back with this sort of gleeful grin on his face.
Gross.
All right, let's get the first shift organized. We'll be back soon. Eat your meal quickly, he says in Undercommon. And after they give out the breakfast, they close the door, back out, and leave. So you found out that the next lot is apparently being shipped out in 2 days.
Shipped out from here in 2 days.
So we got to get out in 2 days.
Okay, yeah, I'll come back and I'll go over to Puck, who I had a mow with last night. Kind of just sit beside him and say, "How are you faring?"
How do you think? Barely
Just
got
as
me.
well as the rest of us.
Yes,
We
how?
find
Please.
peace here, nonetheless.
Please tell me. How do you happen to find so much peace in a shithole like this? Please tell me. It's
There
quite
is no
enlightening.
place, no matter how dark, no matter how deep, that the light of Saloon does not shine.
Cool. Can the light of Shaloon shine a nice big old light on the fucking door lock?
That's exactly what I'm hoping for, my friend. You looked like the right person to speak to. I may have rather nimble fingers. They're accustomed to such things, but not nimble enough to do anything about it without something to work a lock with. I think I could even work off these manacles had I the time and the tools.
I have the tools, but they're in my bag.
Yes. It just gives you like those look of like, really? You don't say.
Mm-hmm. What else do you want me to tell you?
And,
Okay, well, there is another thing. You'll need to ask someone else. It's not mine.
oh,
Talk to that human over there. She might have the tool you need. And I point at Ingrid.
her, the grumpy one. I've been avoiding it.
Gotta cross that bridge sometime. Come on now, Saloon. Shine your light. And I'm gonna eat.
Do you know her? Are you friends?
No.
You can't make an introduction for me, or would it be worse if she knew you were involved?
I'm just gonna look over. Hey, human. Meet human.
He sort of tucks a piece of hair behind his ear. Got the pointed ears.
There's your introduction.
Hello, human. Meet me, half elf.
Ah, I missed the knife ears. My bad.
Yeah.
Ingrid kind of like
No
looks up from
offenses
her
taken.
food.
I mind no comparison to my human brethren. But it smiles a little forced at the end of that sentence. So I'll wave over Ingrid. What does she do?
I'll kind of put my food down and I'll take a couple steps over.
You can come closer. I don't bite. I'm a
Ingrid
half elf, not a
concerned that you
barbarian.
would mention that.
And how are you faring here, my friend?
I would suppose about as well as I could be.
And
I am
you
not
find
dead.
peace here, nonetheless.
I would not necessarily call this peace, but okay.
He's a little disconcerting like that. Like he's just constantly kind of like, yes, waiting. Oh, okay. I would like to be forward with you, if I may.
See-
I don't know if you're my type, to be quite honest with you.
Oh
Sorry.
God, no. Oh dear. Yes. No, quite. You're a lovely woman.
You are
I'm
too small.
certain, but you're also not.
I'm
quite
sure you would
my,
get crushed.
Okay, well, he's like visibly quite flustered. He's not accustomed to this.
Oh, he went there.
Oh, but you are a beautiful woman. What I meant to say, may I be forward in my, do you have anything that you aren't supposed to have here? Allow me to elaborate. We're all in this together. Me and my new friend Puck here. Puck and you are friends. Puck tells me you might have something to help us. Since we're all so friendly.
And Habu.
Nabu.
Ingrid just kind of face palms for a second, and she turns and she takes a look outside. Are there people outside? I can see sort of things.
No, they just. Darren said they walked off, but they might. have-
Okay.
For the moment, but they could be back soon. Any time, some guards could come back.
Look, we don't have a lot of time, so I'm just gonna take the risk here. I would really like to get out of here. How about you?
Yes, I would as well. It is probably best that we survey the area first before we start trying to do anything.
Yes, we have been keeping.
But I am
guards
with
at-
you on the fact that I would like to leave, so we can put it at that. I
Yes,
think this is
I have
probably not the
heard-
best to openly discuss these things.
Quietly in the corner. Let us be fast.
We
haven't
have chosen the
multiple
corner
times.
closest to the door. It is probably not the greatest corner to choose, to be quite honest with you.
Hey, it's my spot. Fuck off.
Puck refused to leave. It's sort of his comfy corner, you know. You can't separate him from his security code.
Hey, what are you guys talking about? I
Our
hear
next
some.
meal. I'm sorry, we're hungry. I'm very hungry, and I'm sick of eating with my hands. Does anyone have a fork in here? You know.
Ah, is that the code word? I've been hearing talk of I've been watching and
Oh, talk
sneaking.
from who? Do tell.
I wonder who chose a corner in the middle of everybody.
Goes, well, I tell you what, I think I'd make a great leader of an
Right.
escape group. I
You know, I do
sneers at Puck.
I do
Yeah.
appreciate the initiative, but I do think it would be best if we do check out the area first, and then from there we can decide what to do. I'm sure you would agree with that, right? You seem like a smart man.
Of course. Prudence.
I was not speaking with you, but okay.
To the orc.
Yes.
Rod is, he snorts. I tell you what, this group needs a leader, though. And I say it's me. Anyone wanna arm wrestle for it or something?
Yes. Habu, my friend. Beautiful maiden.
I
Would
would make a
you-
fantastic leader.
I was more hoping you might stand in as
Ah,
my champion.
So it's a contest then.
Yes, I will wrestle to lead.
We're all gonna die. I'm gonna die in a shithole.
It's okay. Got this.
Are you guys going with this? Now, Sandra, bear with me. I know you've been. I've got a little play coming up.
You're
Ingrid's gonna take a quick look at Habu first. Actually, does Habu look stronger than her?
You just can't really be sure. There's just like a lot going on.
Boo's a lot.
There's a lot going on here.
Ingrid's gonna kind of tap the tip of her nose for a second there, and she goes, "You know, I don't really think that is necessarily fair. You are a very strong man. How about we say you have to beat both Habu and myself. Not necessarily at the same time, of course, but you know, one after the other."
Oh, enough talk. I'm confused.
I'm suggesting more arm wrestling.
It's more like it. And he gets right.
Boris, you're not afraid.
Let's do it then. And he gets down on his stomach, and it's like he's got his arm out. He wants to grasp your hand. All right, and remember, the loser gets their finger broken, right?
Is that what we agreed? Oh wow.
So now we make athletics check.
Oh. Man, have you
13.
advantage?
Oh,
right?
I rolled as. So what is your strength, by the way?
It's a wild 15.
Oh, yeah. Actually, Ron's pretty tough. He's very strong, but you persevered. You rolled better.
She used to win me ways.
He's actually got a 16 strength. This orc, really big bully, and he didn't expect that because you were a bit runtish compared to him. He's a big orc, big frothy
she's
teeth.
a midget orc. She's 5'9", which is like below average.
Yeah, midget orc.
Yeah, and Ront is like, "Hey, you cheated. No one's breaking my finger." And he stands up. I saw it. Cheating, I says.
How dare you accuse me of cheating? She goes to punch him in the face.
Can I try to? Oh, I don't think I can interfere with that. Actually, I weigh like 50 pounds, so I'm like.
Just get out of the way.
So he called you a cheater, so you go to punch him?
Yeah. Strength or athletics?
No, that time we'll just roll an attack roll, so you'll get your strength bonus. So it'd be strength.
Hey, Elf Boy, think of it like this. One less idiot to worry about.
All right, so you punch him
Do a little wink.
and roll 1d4 damage.
Okay. 1 die 4. 4!
Hey. Fucking decked him.
Oh yeah, yeah. You really rung his bell, and he stumbles back and gives his head a shake, and you realize that he's might be a bit more of a coward than he lets on. Actually, he's like, and he chipped one of his tusks, and there's some blood sprayed across his teeth and stuff, and he just he stumbles off to the side. I'll get you for that. Let's see why you can chase him if you want.
Yeah, she probably will. She would do that.
So he's stumbling back, and so let's roll initiative.
Okay. Oh man, Abu.
Hey guys, I just posted that in the chat. Considering that I'm not around and probably will not be for quite some time, do you mind if I jump off, because I'm super freaking tired? I had like a super long day. So
It'd be a neat idea, Sandra, is we could do a little play-by post perhaps.
Ooh,
yeah, we can do that. That's no
Because
problem.
there's some stuff that happens, and you're not out of the woods yet, okay? And she's gonna face a trial coming up. It's
Ooh.
and
Yeah, I'm curious what's happening with Miri right now.
Well, as far as you
I
know,
want
she
to
got.
see that though. She's so fun to watch play.
Fucking dead.
Oh, we could play it at the beginning of next session too. But I'll set it up a bit with her and say this is what kind of you find yourself. Now, the way she played it was quite well, and the roles just teed it up. Like, it was all of a sudden I was like, oh, and often I'll do this as a DM. The story may influence and write itself. No, Sandra, thanks for coming. Of course, that's no problem. I was going to kind of wrap session up in a bit anyway, because I figured it would be at least 2 to 3 sessions to get this first chapter done, and it's been playing out really well. You guys have been doing an awesome job. So here we were.
I think we're making a great group, so I have no doubt that this will work out great, and it was really, really fun. So I'm sorry, but I will jump off then, and then would not want to rush into or rush things just because I'm tired. So let's just take some time to play by post or do it next session. So that'd be really cool. I would really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. No.
All right, don't die during initiative, okay?
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Interesting group. Right on. So back to the cell, and like I said, I'll wrap the session up in a bit. We'll have some closing stuff because, what I was thinking is we'll start the next session at the beginning of the day. So you guys have this breakfast. I give you guys like basically a half an hour to eat breakfast and connive before the guards come and break you up and send you off into your work chains and groups. And you might be able to do stuff on those work gangs, but you're so watched, you're chained. That's might not be an opportunity, and you're split up and stuff too. And there's been a sort of strange sort of companionship forming, I've noticed, and some weird friction forming and conflict as well, which I really like. So at the moment, Ront has stumbled away, kind of bleeding from his mouth. Yeah, sorry, cheated. Nobody's breaking my finger. But Habu, you're like, oh yeah?
Stop calling me a cheater!
And now make a stealth check, Habu.
Oh.
And because if you guys make noise, of course, the guards. Now your temper got away.
I noted at the top that Galen is currently watching at the gate for the guards' return.
Okay, good call.
Ooh.
Okay, so you
18 and 20 if it was an advantage.
you manage not. Yeah, you're not screaming and yelling and slamming doors, but you're calmly, because you can move Habu over to Ront. He's kind of went to the other side of the room, kind of moving away from you, and you pursue him. And in fact, you can get an attack of opportunity.
He was a coward.
Because you said right away, I say, no, I'm going to smack him.
Okay,
Fair.
strength again?
Yeah, so you can hit him again. You go up to him and you hit him as he's going away.
Stop calling me a cheater.
But this time he spins around and he's and lashes out at you.
Someone get that under control.
What's your AC right now, actually?
I kind of like watching it.
What's your AC now, Habu? What's your
13.
dex? Oh, 13?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he misses with a cut. Oh, wait, and no, that's a hit because he has a strength bonus.
No.
So he does 3 points damage to you. Ugh! He gets a couple body blows, and he's fighting now. Because you kind of cornered him. He's a bit like, I guess, a rat. And a few people, Jim Jar's trying to get bets. He's going up. Hey, you look like a smart fella. He goes up to Galen. I'll bet you 20 gold pieces. The runt thrashes him. And you're just like, whatever. And so let's roll initiative for Habu and Ront. Everyone else kind of watching, gathering back?
No, I'm not helping. I'm just watching. I'm just like, ooh.
Galen is, because he doesn't want to keep his eyes off the gates, because if the guards start coming back, then he can hopefully holler at someone to stop him at that point. So Galen's just over here.
Right.
Like,
For the moment, it's one of those gaps. They're not here at the moment. So he comes in and hits you pretty solid. 3 more hits. And you guys are slugging away at each other. It's the old-fashioned boxing match, slugging away. You can make your attack now. It's your turn, or do what you will.
15.
And that is a hit. So roll 1d4. Actually, and from now on, you'll get your strength bonus on that 1d4 for damage if you have.
Well, that's a 4 plus 3 then.
Oh, wow.
Or a 4 plus 2.
All right, so he's swaying now. He's almost down, and it's this.
Okay, she says it again. Sarah didn't cheat. You low life.
All right, you didn't cheat. I okay. He puts his hands up. All right.
He like smiles and lends out a hand to him to pick him up off the ground.
And he's. I see butterflies.
Yeah, me too.
And you two find these two in arm suddenly because Ront is now leaning on you, a bloody mess. And he's like, "You chipped my tooth."
You broke my nose.
And the rest of you are like, "Get a room." It's like a weird sort of bonding moment or something odd out of some episode, Arrested Development. But so Ront and Habu, suddenly they were slugging away at each other. Blood was flying, and the next second they stopped. And just in time, as 2 Quaggoth were coming from a cycle, and they come to the door and peek in. Hey, get ready, you scum. Work session starting soon. They yell in. Make sure you take your shits and pisses now. There's no breaks till lunch.
I gotta take a shit.
You'll probably be
roll
on.
for shit.
Roll. You got a shit bucket. Now, okay, so it's probably a good time then to conclude the session on that note. We sort of have a situation going. It's cool. I'm going to work on this and develop more stuff and have some more role play next session. Yeah, I'm surprised you held off there, Habu. You didn't kill Ront. You could have taken him out. You might have gotten an ally there.
Yeah, she's not looking so hot right now either.
And anybody want to say or do anything character-wise, role-play-wise, or we can just start it, unpause it, so to speak?
So how
Puck's
one? Sorry, no, you first, Puck.
No, you do it. You go.
Okay.
You go.
So Habu won the arm wrestling competition.
He did. and then Ront called him a cheater, and so they got in fisticuffs over it. And Habu ended up pummeling him into submission, and he was gonna. Ront called Uncle, and they ended up kind of becoming weird, sort of friends. I don't know what happened there. It was weird.
If Ingrid has time, she wants to arm wrestle Habu.
Nice.
We'll see for leadership.
Yes.
Loser gets their finger broken.
That's how things are here.
play horse rules. Well, do you want to take the challenge? That's now actually there's no time. The guards came and said get ready to go, so you might have to do it another time.
I'm gonna just do like the little eye thing where I point at my eyes and then point at Habu and then point it again, and then I'm gonna go, that means I want to see you later.
Oh, so she's your type. Oh, okay.
Everybody wants to do.
Yes, strange bedfellows here, I suppose.
Spring chicken.
Well, awesome, everybody. This was a really tricky adventure to run, I must say.
God.
A lot of stuff going on, a very dynamic intro session. So, and I knew it was coming. I knew it was going to be tricky. So, you guys really helped a lot. You guys early played really well. Role played, came up with some great surprises, great characters, great moments. So the way that was quite ad hoc what happened with Sandra's character. And she nailed a couple crit rolls, and you just go with that stuff. That's what makes adventures, right? And but she's not out of the woods. Like I said, there's going to be some fun going on with her, and she may play a part in your guys' escape. Who knows? You might have some help on the outside now. But you have 2 days, and including this day coming up. So you realize that.
Go fast.
Yeah, and when they transport you, there's very little chance. At that point, it's almost the jig is up. You're just chained to a chain gang and at their mercy.
So it's got to be tonight, right?
Well, no, 2 days. So
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
according to them, and so you can gather more materials, come up with a plan. Who knows? But there might be careful, right? Everybody, you don't know a lot of these people in this group. You still have to get to know Topsy Turvy and Bupido if you want to. Some, yeah, and you kind of know the others. Plus the fungus guy. You notice he's moved around the room. I don't know if you've been aware of that, but he's been moving around and maybe watching and listening. But it seems shy with this weird fungus guy, the shy fungus guy. And I'm not sure if I was gonna stop the recording now.